as for rules, we didn't carry military manuals around with us. We were out on the veldt, fighting the Boer, the way he fought us. I'll tell you what rule we applied, sir. We applied Rule 303. We caught them, and we shot them under Rule 303.
Letters from the front. The following letter has been received from Private Gamble, a member of the mounted unit of the 1st Victorian Contingent. It is addressed from Enslin Camp to his father and mother and is dated January the 12th, 1900. Quote, "Still at Enslin at the same old game, patrolling and guarding lines. We have had 2 pretty hot gallops lately. Last Sunday, 100 Boers were reported to be advancing in our direction. We were just in the middle of our tea and had to leave everything. Pannikins were upset, mess tins tipped up, and bread and jam scattered here and there. We were off in 5 minutes' time. Colonel Hode complimented us on our quickness. 25 men were picked with good horses to go out first. I was among them. We sailed out into the veldt, but could not see any Boers, so we scouted about until 9 o'clock at night and then came into camp. In the meantime, the colonel had got word that the Boers changed their direction towards the north instead of going east, so we were up at 2 o'clock and off northwards to cut them off. We got about 4 miles from camp when our officer noticed something ahead like horses. It was just breaking day, so we waited quietly for a little while and then charged full gallop. I fully expected to hear bullets whizzing, but none came, and when we were close enough to see, found it to be a mob of about 80 horses camped. They took off, and we all had to laugh at being sold. We wandered about until 10 o'clock and then back to camp, hungry and tired. We must have ridden 50 miles altogether, so you can understand the work our horses have to do. The Boers had disappeared entirely. They are not easily caught and are a tough enemy to fight against. They are scattered in commandos all over the place, and the British have to guard all camps very strongly. If there is a weak camp anywhere, Boers are seen to be prowling about, and these native spies give them all information. Our camp engaged 2 natives for spies and then found they were spying for Boers, so we made them prisoners at once. This is the reason that England requires so many men out here. They must leave as many as they have to front to guard the positions they take. Every day big guns are going up to Modder River, so there will be a burst up there one of these days. They fire a few shots every morning and evening just as the Boers are watering horses and sending out their patrols. Yesterday, the 11th of January, our fellows, the 9th Lancers, the Army Service Corps and some cavalry with 2 big guns, about 1,800 in all, went out to attack Jacobdal, but found it to be a Boer hospital with the Red Cross flying, so of course couldn't fire. They all returned and camped here. It's a grand sight to see all these men mounted, especially the Lancers. They carry lances 10 foot long and have short carbines and a bucket on a saddle. We were out last week in the Orange Free State and called at an empty house. It is surprising to see the beautiful homesteads the Dutch have left. This place has every convenience. It was built flat-topped with a gable centre and all the front frescoed. They had a large barn open at both ends so that a wagon can pass right through. They had men's huts, sheep dips, 2 gardens with peaches and pomegranates in any quantity. They were all watered from wells worked by windmills, not small ones but great large ones. All the house, barn, huts and everything is built in one line and joining each other. The sheep dips too are right in front of the house. Everything is plastered with plaster made of cow dung and grass. All yards and enclosures are made of stone walls about 5 feet high and 4 feet thick. It appears the stock are yarded always at night, and the dung is made into cakes about 18 inches square and 4 inches thick through. These are piled on the walls on their edges and dried for burning. It makes splendid fuel. We are using it all in camp. The smell is not pleasant. I don't know how the Dutch manage it in their rooms. We brought home a lot of peaches on the green side and cooked them with rice. We get all sorts of things from a fellow that comes every week. Dates and figs galore. They are a luxury after the spell of some bread we had. The imperial officer that was in charge of the big reconnaissance party said we ought to be at Modder River. That means right at the front. The horses are not standing the climate at all. Strangles, coughs, swollen legs and sore backs will leave us short very soon unless we can commandeer others. There are about 20 now unfit for use. There is always a great rush for the mail. It came in yesterday. We would sooner go without a meal as miss it. There are about 6 trains per day, some of them very heavily loaded. It makes a terrible lot of forage and supplies to keep the things going. And then they always keep a reserve supply as well. It is wonderful how the commissariat is regulated. We get all frozen meat, fresh, since we came here. The tinned is kept in reserve. It is all Queensland meat, some of it good and at times very bad. Old stage. The cook makes it all up into stews, puts a few potatoes, onions, salt and pepper. Meat is only served for dinner and we get a little loaf of bread every morning. We have plenty by making porridge and rice. There is a balloon flying today. They are communicating with Orange and Modder River by wireless telegraphy. We cannot see anything or how it is done except the balloon flying. A pole 120 feet long was erected first, but a squall broke it. Kites were tried, but they would not fly high enough. The balloon should be a success. It has been frightfully dusty lately. We had a drop of rain Monday and it was not so bad since. Our tea had a scum on it like cream sometimes, but it is just pure dust. Water is more plentiful. We've had 2 or 3 wells sunk and they bring more water by train from Modder River. We were allowed 4 hours to wash our clothes yesterday. Our clothes are wearing well, socks getting a few holes but can get new ones by application or anything else. I'm still in good health, always ready for a meal no matter what it is. We get plenty of partridge now. I saw fully 50 springbok in one lot one morning early. They look pretty, trotting or bounding along. They are very light fawn colour and about the size of a yearling calf. I helped to bring in a foal mule the other day, a little black fellow, ears a foot long. I would like to bring it home. So I'm actually not at the Boer War monument. I'm at my ancestral home of St. Kilda. It's a beachside suburb, as you can see. There's a magnificent Port Phillip Bay. There's a freighter out there in the distance. If you would continue out past the heads, you'd eventually cross Bass Strait into Tasmania. As you can see, it's full of holiday makers and tourists and backpackers, and it's a real beachside suburb. Now this pub over here, the Hotel Esplanade, I would have seen hundreds of bands playing at the Espy, they call it. They saved it, although a lot of the back is gone, but they saved the front of it. And me and my mate Steve, oh my god, how many times were we here at the Espy seeing bands. I did play there once with my friend Jade in the back bar, but yeah, famous St. Kilda landmark is the old Espy Hotel. Anyway, oh no, while we're at it, but it just so happens that this weekend is the Anzac Day weekend, and as such this is going to be almost impossible to film talk, just film. Maybe we'll... No, now they've got speeches.
Council will separately acknowledges the official owners of this land, the people of the Kulin Nation, We pay our respects to their elders, past and present. We acknowledge and uphold their continuing relationship to this land. I'd like to acknowledge Josh Burns, the federal member for McNamara, and Lena Taylor, the federal state member for Albert Park, members of the St Kilda RSL, including President Ian Tanner, and my fellow councillors, Councillor Christina Sirikoff and Rhonda Clark. Good morning, everyone. Today, and on this upcoming Anzac Day,
I'm not sure I'm going to be able to talk above this guy.
To the valiant men and women
There's the
who
troopers
have served our country in times of conflict and crisis.
off St Kilda that went to the Boer War.
As the Deputy Mayor of the City of Port Phillip, I'm honoured to stand here before you to express our gratitude to those who fought to defend our country by laying a wreath on behalf of Council. We salute the legacy of those who fought in service of our nation and the souls who paid the ultimate price for the freedoms we enjoy today.
Wow, this is magnificent. So they got pottery, you know, glazed pottery.
World War I and World War II.
It's fantastic, the
But
tiles.
also by those who participated in more recent
Forgotten how big it was.
This year marks 70 years since the end of Australia's involvement in the Korean War and a 50-year milestone of Australia's withdrawal from the Vietnam War in 1973. We're fortunate to have a few Vietnam veterans who are St Kilda RSL members in Mr Robert White and Mr Sam Roberts, who both served in the Australian Army.
Okay, I think we just about got away with it. Now, that place over there, with the terraces and that, used to be a ice skating rink called St Moritz. It also had bands that Steve and I used to go and see. Well, it was King's Court then, but in the days it was St Moritz. The mum and her family used to go ice skating there, and that's how my Uncle Leo, Mum's older brother, met Auntie Jean, my auntie. Anyway, we've got a bit of a walk to the next monument, and maybe by the time we get back this way they will have finished their business. So I don't like to put too much about me in these particular videos, because we're concentrating on the Boer War obviously, but I have to show you people this. You know, as a kid, this was the centre of my universe. Anywhere on the planet you could take me to, man, this is where I'd come. This is Luna Park. It's, well, it was at least here around the time of the Boer War. So still in St Kilda, found the second monument, erected by subscription in memory of Edwin Knox, the Victorian Bushman Corps, who died in South Africa February the 26th, 1901, aged 24. A bit ironic that they give you a drinking fountain, because the fellow or the boy actually drowned in South Africa, and they've got a little memorial here. Edwin Knox drowned in South Africa in 1901 while serving in the Boer War. He had grown up in St Kilda but was working in the Toongabbie district in southeastern Victoria when he enlisted. Upon news of his death, public subscriptions were taken up in St Kilda and Toongabbie for a memorial to be erected in St Kilda. The unveiling took place on the 23rd of February 1902. The St Kilda Rifle Club has combined with the St Kilda Tradesman Club for the purpose of erecting a suitable emblem to perpetuate the memory of their late fellow citizen Trooper Edwin Ted Knox of the Bushman contingent known as the Fighting Third, who drowned while on active service at Vonderboom, South Africa. Edwin Knox was the son of Captain H.M. Knox and was well and creditably known in the district. Subscriptions are asked for. That's the Argus from Saturday the 20th of April 1901. The bluestone pedestal with marble plaque is all that remains of the original memorial. This contemporary silhouette illustrates the fountain's ornamental design. After the removal of the original fountain, a basin with drinking taps was installed. Also included is, in this interpretation, the round footpath marker indicates the ideal vantage point. So you can see what it used to look like there. It had a magnificent fountain, but they must have, for some reason You can sort of see the outline there that they've cut into that mural. So that was a good one, eh? Now I think we'll cruise past the big one and see if their Anzac Day celebrations are finished. Yeah, well, that was good. After we visited Edwin's Memorial, made my way back to, I think it's called Taylor Square, and they've all gone. They finished the Anzac Day Memorial, site of the first building in St Kilda, 1840. Wow. I wanted to read out the fellas that were lost in the Boer War. You know, I like pronouncing these South African names. Kind of odd. Anyway, these are the World War II heroes. World War I, Jacka, VC. But they don't seem to remember the Boer War too much. Anyway, let's have a look. Caterers are packing up. So, as you can see, it's a magnificent, huge. Starting from the top, we've got Corporal R.P.N. Robertson, killed in action at Middle Kraal, 29th of May 1901, age 29. Trooper Edwin Knox, that's the one we just looked at, died at Vonderboom, the 22nd of February 1901, age 24. Trooper W.A. Rolls died at Potchefstroom, 29th of May 1902, he was 29. Trooper Leslie Stewart, killed in action at Witpoort, 11th of July 1901, he was only 19. Then we move on to Trooper Lawrence Goody, killed in action at Vilman's-Rust, 12th of June 1901, he was only 21. Trooper M.A. Langley, killed in action at Frederickstad, the 5th of Jan 1901, age 22. Trooper John Whelan, killed in action North Wakkerstroom, 16th of December 1901, age 23. They were erected by the citizens of St Kilda in honour of the 65 brave soldiers who went from St Kilda to fight the Empire's battles in South Africa. I'm glad we got to have a good look at it, and the veterans, great job they did standing to attention there. But have a look at this guy, yeah, he's got those putties on his legs. That's brilliant, isn't it? As I was saying before, it's like glazed tiling they've done him in. Alright, well, we've got one more stop in St Kilda. I don't think we're going to have much luck, but we need to go to the St Kilda Primary School. Now, I mentioned, I don't know if I've said it before, but Mum and her family, they lived all around these streets of St Kilda. So did her first husband, so did my auntie Lorraine. They all barracked for St Kilda Football Club, pretty much. And I really feel that my roots are in this cool, groovy seaside suburb. We used to come busking down here a lot. On a Sunday, this market stall is always here. This is the Esplanade. And we used to come busking down here. So, a lot of bohemians, poets, artists, musicians used to live down here. That's why I used to hang out around here. I thought I was kind of cool at one stage. So I'm at my final St Kilda destination, which is the St Kilda Primary School. Now, once again, a lot of construction going on, or maintenance or something. Obviously we're not going to be able to get in, it's a Sunday, but they do have a memorial board in here. I might be able to find a photo of it to show you. I wouldn't be surprised if this wasn't Mum's school, you know. I reckon it might have been. Anyway, yeah, it's quite a big marble memorial kind of plaque to the men that went to the Boer War. I don't know why schools would show them. All I know. It's an impressive gate, isn't it?